All right, today we have a special guest joining us. She's a dynamic sports reporter for WGNO in New Orleans, a proud native of Shreveport, Louisiana, and a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. She's also a graduate of the University of Louisiana at Lafayette. When she's not delivering sports, you can find her in the gym or starting her day off with a morning run. Please join me in welcoming the GOAT, the incredible Meagan Glover, to the show.
You made this sound kind of good.
You like that?
I
You like
appreciate it.
that?
I'm happy to be here.
Man, Meagan, every time I see you at LSU or if we at a Saints game, we end up in we're in Orlando,
Mhm.
a year ago when LSU
Yeah,
played Florida State.
yeah.
I just popped up on you.
I'm like,
Yeah. See, I'm independent. See, I'm not a big dog like you.
stop it.
No, you are.
You make your
You're
own rules, though.
yes.
Yeah.
I do enjoy that side of it. I do enjoy that side of it. I kind of cover what I want. But you covering no. You covering big events. Super Bowl?
No,
Yeah.
that's what the one you missed. You covered everything else.
No, okay, that's the big one though. That's the top of my list.
You'll be there
What was
next
that
year.
like? What was covering the Super Bowl like?
No, it was words can't really explain what the experience was like. I like a transparent moment was that Sunday I was actually pretty emotional because one of these days I'm gonna write a book and talk about my journey. But like waking up and getting ready, I got emotional, and then when I actually got settled at the stadium and walking up to the press box, and I missed Kansas running out onto the field, but I was able to see the Eagles. And just kind of like seeing the lights flash in the dome and just kind of seeing how everything was, like that made me like I got a little choked up. So no, it was just really an incredible experience. Like not just the game, but the entire week. Opening night was crazy. The NFL honors was good. Just meeting some people, making some stories, pushing some content, and making dreams a reality for real.
And you've been in the dome plenty of times.
Yeah,
Oh, well, I know the feeling was different. I know it was
yeah.
electric, and all the renovations they've been doing leading up to it. Uh,
hmm
what's the difference between a Sunday afternoon Saints game versus the production that was put on by the NFL for the Super Bowl?
Well, one, no disrespect. This past year ain't been the best for the Saints. So to see some lit stuff going on, to see, some excitement. It was different. It was
Yeah.
refreshing. And to your point about the renovations, like, as a media member, and you know this, like, we don't have to necessarily go out into like the foyer areas and all of that to get to where we need to get to. Well, how they was doing stuff for the Super Bowl, they just had to they had some reroutes. I don't get why, but whatever. So there were some reroutes, and in that you had to go out to the foyer, and so I'm seeing these little kiosk is not the word I want to say. Maybe shops, they selling T-shirts and all this type stuff for the fans, and these Super Bowl shirts, Eagle shirts, Kansas shirts, and stuff like that. And it was this one of the videos I took was in the concourse level, or one of the concourses, and one of the ushers say, "I'm so tired of them spelling Eagles." I said, "Ma'am, you have a long night ahead. You
Did they
might
did
want
they
to go."
spell it right?
I
Did they
mean,
spell it
probably in
right?
the beginning after a couple of drinks, they might have been spelling it wrong.
Wasn't that the mayor of Philadelphia? She spelled it wrong or something like that. I think I saw that.
Bro, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Cause they got shirts made. I want to say that was right before the Washington game,
Yeah.
and they had got shirts made. I forgot about that. But no, it was no. The feeling of the dome was great, and I know I'm kind of repeating a lot of people and saying this, and even national media. But you really have to applaud how New Orleans did with hosting the Super Bowl, and I think it's just sort of poetic when you look at like the tragedy that took off on New Year's Eve, and just really to see how vibrant everything was. Again, the renovations with the Superdome. People just talk about how walkable the city is. It just snowed here over 2 weeks ago, and it was
Yeah.
beautiful all week. No, it was a great time.
Did I know I saw a clip of Sean Payton saying it should
hmm
be in the 5-year rotation. So
Yep.
the other night I was looking back, I was like, okay, you got all these new stadiums in the NFL now. And so they're gonna go back to Levi Stadium
Right.
next year. They're gonna be in SoFi the year after that. Then they're going to Atlanta the year after that. And then you think about Allegiant in Vegas.
hmm
But the point Sean Payton was making, all those cities you got to take an hour car ride Because I know for me, I hate flying to a city. I hate spending the night in that city. I like to fly, and I guess this goes off of by my own rules. I don't go to the game until the day of. So, for example, when I went to Chicago early this year, the Bears
Bruh,
played the Rams,
bruh.
and man, I fly United, right? Of course,
Hmm.
shout out to United Airlines, greatest airline ever. So the way the flight schedule is, if I'm flying into a smaller city, then I may not be able to make it back that night. But luckily, that Chicago game, fly in, I land like at 9, 10 in the morning. Kickoff's not until noon. I don't go out there to start shooting until what? They run out probably 20 minutes before kickoff, so I'm not out there till 11:40. And I think that's the point Sean Payne was making. The city of New Orleans is so walkable. All the hotels in one area. That's a 15-minute walk to the dome if you're from the French Quarter. So, but I
Right,
mean,
right. I agree. To your point about Chicago, like the airport is far from Chicago. At least from downtown, you got to take like 2 trains,
yeah.
maybe, to get to the airport over there. So yeah, I agree with Sean.
Because that's where our headquarters is for United. So every time I got to go there next week.
Okay. Yeah.
And every time we
Yeah. Yeah.
go out there, luckily my conference is near the airport, but our headquarters is downtown. And if
Mm-hmm.
you look at how Chicago is built,
Yeah.
with the airport being far west and downtown off the lake, everybody's commuting downtown. So when you leaving that game, the entire city is leaving, going home to the suburbs.
No facts. And I was in Chicago this summer. Same thing with the Cubs game. Everybody on the train. So no, like I totally get that. I mean, it's like, do you want to take all these trains and go hit the airport that's, I don't know, 40 minutes away, or do you want to fly to Kenner and it'd be like maybe a 15-minute ride if you're
Yeah,
lucky in traffic.
yeah. I
But
see
everything.
them.
So yeah.
I see them with the renovations the dome made,
Hmm.
and the culture. That's top tier. But seeing how everything was beautiful, the light shows, how clean the city was. Now I did see the power went out in New Orleans tonight, so in certain areas. I think it was near the dome. So I guess I guess at least it didn't
I
go out
heard
during the
about it.
game.
I didn't witness that.
At
Yeah.
least it didn't go out during the game. But I mean, I'm glad, man. I do hope, like I said, you got all these new stadiums. So I don't think it'll be another. I think this time it was like a 13-year gap from the last Super Bowl.
Hmm.
I think it was what, Ravens 49ers, the last one that was down there.
The
So
last Super
maybe,
Bowl was, yeah, 2013. So yeah,
yeah. So we'll see. Great job by the city though. But
for
let's
sure, definitely a lasting impression.
yeah, yeah. And like I said, I like the production. I love all the renovations, the suite levels. I do. The fans enjoyed it. You could tell. You could tell.
Hmm. Yeah.
But let's get into how you got into being a sports reporter. How did that happen? Like, were you were a young kid and you said you were watching ESPN? Like me, I was watching ESPN and said I want to be Stuart Scott and all that. But how was it for you?
So it didn't hit me when I was like super young. I really wanted to be the next Lisa Leslie. And I knew, girl, you couldn't hoop like that. So I had made my pivot or changed my mind probably before I got to high school. I really don't remember how old I was at the time, but I just knew I liked sports and I knew I liked to talk about it. I mean, I just kind of took the steps necessary. When I was at UL, I graduated in broadcasting and journalism with a BA, whatever. I graduated with that degree. But before I left from UL, my last semester, I had got on with the Fox station that was out there, and I was doing production assistant work, and it was for the morning show, and I almost like didn't roll with it. But my homeboy from school, he was like, then the only reason I almost didn't roll with it because it was for the morning show, so I was having to go to work for like 3:30 in the morning, and then turn around and go to class. So he was like, like, this is a foot in the door. I think you should go for it. You never know what could happen. So that's what happened. I stuck with that for that semester. Once I graduated, they made me full time. So I was there for another year and a half. So at least I did 2 years over there. I'm just kind of working my way up the ranks during my time there. I did enough to make a reel because, like any station, probably in America, when it's football season and it's high school football, and this, like, they'll take as much help as possible.
Yeah,
So I had some mentors, and the guys that were working in the sports department, they said, "Yeah, like we'll take whatever you got." They knew that I was interested in being on air, so they had challenged me to every time I went to a game to shoot stand ups. And so I had built a reel over time by doing that, just building that consistency. I went in a couple Sundays and did some anchor reads, and built my reel. Went on to Alexandria. I was there for 2 years. Ran the sports department there. Well, I was the only one.
You really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. It was. I'm gonna write a book. COVID hit during that time, so that slowed things up a lot. Came back to Lafayette. Did 3 years, and then yeah, I got to New Orleans about 5 months ago, almost 5 months ago.
Yeah. I've been following you since you were in Alexandria.
Yeah, that's when we connected.
Yeah, I don't think I really knew you in school too much, but when you were in Alexandria, that's when I found I was like, okay, we got somebody from UL as a sports reporter, okay. And my homeboy Trey, that was one of the things, like I said, we wanted to do growing up. Seeing you go from Alexandria, then KTC in Lafayette, seeing that and everybody. If I go back home and people watching the news and you pop up, I'm like, I know her. I know her, man.
Good love, yeah.
But I know you said growing up you want to be a Lisa Leslie. Was there anybody in sports that you looked up to, like national TV?
On TV,
Yeah.
Lisa Salters for sure.
Yeah.
Robin Roberts for sure. Those are like my two legends, no doubt.
Yeah.
Even though I know Robin does, GMA. I've luckily had the opportunity to interview Lisa before. But yeah, those are my two goats off rip.
Because when I think of other than Lisa Salters, and I think of when I was watching ESPN, I would think of like a Susie Colbert, Linda Cohn, Michelle Tafoya, like the women in sports that still. And what's her name? I can't believe I forgot her name that quick. She's with she does NBA games.
Not Lisa.
No.
Doris Burke.
Doris Burke. I love when she's yes. I love Doris Burke. What else I had? Let's see. You kind of did it already, but just dive a little deep in. Like, what's the day in the life? Okay. Let's say we're not gonna do the Super Bowl because Super Bowl was hectic.
Okay.
Well, for people that don't know, let's say you're shooting 7 p.m. kickoff, Tiger Stadium. What is it like for you? And I go into like for me what it's like on my side, but for you as a sports reporter, what is it like going into Tiger Stadium 7 p.m. day in the life? What you got to do?
7 p.m. Friday.
Okay.
So I'm probably leaving from here. Let's say about 3:30ish. Like probably no later than 3:30. Barring traffic. So I'm probably leaving here about 3:30.
Wait, time out. Let me ask that again. Did I say 7 p.m. Friday?
No, you did.
Oh, okay. Wait. You got me over. Did I say that? There's no way I said it. Okay, I'm asking
Roll
again.
off the tongue, bro.
Okay. 7 p.m. night kickoff, Death Valley.
You said kickoff.
Okay. So what is that like preparing as a sports reporter to go into Tiger Stadium? What do you have to do? What is it like?
So yeah, like I'd leave from here by 3:30, and it is me and my coworker that will shoot the LSU games. I shoot 9 times out of 10. I shoot the opposing team. He'll shoot LSU side. So leave from here, get to Tiger Stadium, whatever time that looks like. If God willing, I might have stopped and got some wings. I don't know, but I go over there, get situated, and me. I feel like the athletes when I pull up at Tiger Stadium because I'm loading up my cart. I put my AirPods in. You know how it is.
That walk from the lot.
Yes. Bunch of lit people, saying it in a respectful way.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to tune all that out. So I'm trying to get from point A to point B. So walk down there, go pick up my pass, get inside Tiger Stadium, of course, get situated, find my spot, plug up a laptop, all that type stuff. And then I'll go on the field and just shoot whatever I could. We always put our local guys first. So, excuse me, for here, it's been like Kyron Lacey, from Thibodeau. Some other guys, so I'll see what I can get from him. Get from the field. Of course, we getting shots of Nuss and, some of our other star athletes. If I have time to, throw some on Twitter, I will. Twitter or Facebook. If not, it's really not that big of a deal. Shoot the game. Wait on them to run out. Shoot the game, and then depending on what was the plan, either I'm the one going live and my coworkers in the press room, the post game press room, or I'm the one or vice versa. Because now that the SEC is on ABC, we have a college show that airs after it. Their revenue. So we
Yeah.
do that. But either way, both of us we get stand ups in so they could run the next day in our Sunday show or reports, and we get up out of there. Maybe, hopefully, we've been lucky to get out of Tiger Stadium by 11 o'clock a couple of times
Yeah.
this year, except the Ole Miss game. Ain't no telling what time we got out of there, but
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what it
I
is.
I didn't realize before I got into this.
Mhm.
I didn't realize like how late like the press box will stay open, how late the press room stays open. Because when you watching it on TV, game starts at 7, it's probably done by 10:15. You watching Sports Center, you moving on. But when you in it and you working, you're delivering that content to the news station. You have to go to the press conference. You got to get those bites in. You got to take those notes, then to go outside and do your live shot, on the field.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
realize that.
It's I mean, we on deadline. The
Yeah.
writers got to get they articles in. We got to make sure we make TV. And because for us specifically, because the game is on our station, like it ain't like the 10 o'clock news starts at 10
Yeah.
o'clock.
Yeah.
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 And what was new or different for me, because the SEC made that switch this year, is that our sports show runs right after the game, and then the 10 o'clock comes on. So if you're looking for the 10 o'clock news, it really might not come on till 11:30 maybe. Ain't no telling. So yeah.
And like another thing I just really realized in the last few years, when, like you said, it's you and another person, right? And when you were in Alexandria, it was just you.
Cool.
And that's the stage I'm at, right? Because when I go, I'm shooting, I'm trying to go in at halftime to select my shots from the first half, get those
Right.
uploaded, sent off. Like, luckily, back to what you were saying, my own show kinda, I get to, instead of staying and going to the press conference, I may not be in there all night. I just take my edited images and I go edit them on a flight. I may edit them at like 1 a.m, just so, because it's all about time for me.
Right.
I know, especially during high school football back in Bogue, I want to be the first person to put out what the score is or what the graphic is, because I know those shares, those comments, those likes, like that content's going to navigate back to the social media page. So it's all about time. So I get that.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think that's like as corny as this might sound, I think that's the beautiful thing about this conversation, because we, can bounce off of, oh, that's what it's like for you and that's what it's like for me type thing. And like for you specifically, I know how much, between you and my Lisa, I know how big
Mm.
Vogue is,
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like people want them scores, they want them pictures, they want them videos legit
Yeah.
in real time.
Yeah. No, for real. For real. So like when I know you've been doing like shots for some time now.
Mm.
But like, what is that like? What's going on in your head when you're live? Do you shut down everything that's around you? Because when you in, let's say, the Bama game, when everybody ran out, you were at that one.
I wasn't at that one.
All right, so another game where Ole Miss, okay, you were
Ole
at Ole
Miss.
Miss.
I was at the game. Yeah.
So when the fans stay over, or you still have a crowd of people in that stadium, but you still got to get your live shot in, are you blocking that out? Like, what's going
Yes.
through your head?
100%. It was so many people at that Ole Miss game. Of course, they stormed the field after that one, and now you got so many people. Oh, Miss News Lady, you need an interview, or all them lit people. Let me say it like that. They jumping over the fences and stuff like that, and I gotta be a little aggressive. I try not to be that person, but like, hey, like I need you to move, or I got
Mm-hmm.
to handle this. Like, hey, nah, baby, I'm not trying to talk. Whatever. Because at the end of the day, I got a job to do. I do tune all of that out. The funny thing about the Ole Miss game specifically was that I thought the game was over. So in my mind, I knew exactly what I was gonna say. And then you get the game time score, and then you go into overtime, and all of a sudden
Mm-hmm.
LSU pulls off this classical win, and I'm
Yeah.
like, everything I was gonna say is totally out the window.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So no, when it comes to a live shot, the best tip that I've always gotten was Treat it like you're talking to your mama. Treat it like you're
Hmm.
telling your best friend, whatever, what happened at this game. And that's one of the things that I will say I pride myself in is that, like, when I'm on TV, I don't fake the funk. I talk how I talk, you know. I try to chill on the slang a little bit, clearly no cussing, but I just say what it is and keep it pushing.
Yeah, it's been plenty of times like I shoot you a message about you being on TV, and it's funny you said about your moms too, because I saw you brought her to the classic last year, right?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah. When now that I'm able to get my credentials with my various media outlets,
Hmm.
so I was able to bring Katie for the New Orleans Bowl when UL played. Who
Yeah.
did they play?
This
Jackson
past year?
State. Yeah, yeah. When they won the dome,
Yeah.
and she was like, "What am I supposed to wear?" I said, "Let me go see what Megan wears." I went all through. I went all through your Instagram. I was like, "Get your sports coat. Get you some dunks."
Yeah. I ain't at that part of my career where I can just walk around with heels on. Nah, y'all can get these running shoes or something.
Because I mean, at that same time, you out there shooting too, though,
Yeah. I,
and
I
that's
did.
another thing I didn't realize that you out there doing your live shots, but also during the game, you're shooting.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so
I've most of the time I'm shooting. Some games I haven't shot.
mm,
It really just depends on the situation, who we got with us. But yeah, most of the time, like I didn't shoot the Super Bowl, of course, but yeah, most of the time it is me shooting. So I like to be comfortable.
gotcha, man. I got you. No, I get it. And then to kind of piggyback what you were saying about the Ole Miss game and thinking it was over
Hmm.
from a photographer standpoint, I already know, okay, I got to switch my lens because, the game's over, right? I got to be ready to, I've been shooting with this 300 the entire game. So now I got to switch over to my 2470 so I can get this coach handshake and the close ups of the players.
Hmm.
And when you're in a game like that, when it's in overtime or double overtime, you don't even have time to switch
Yeah.
because the fans are about to storm the field. All right.
Hmm.
So what I did this year, I put my phone on top of my camera.
Right.
So to get all that content as far as the fans, and I just take my monopod, I just hold it up. I just just take it all in because I'm not able. And then in a game like that, you're not even gonna get the coach handshake because you got
Yeah.
the state troopers.
Yeah.
They running off the field anyway.
And that's really just like a part of being prepared or being alert for whatever that moment looks like. I mean, if Ole Miss would have started running away with that game, like okay, I can
Hmm.
walk to the pressing room, go get what I need. But when it's like tight like that and you just never know, like yeah, you gotta be prepared for real. Like I'll say this, that Oklahoma game, LSU, like, they got up early or whatever. And I said, okay, I got time to go to the bathroom. Like,
Hmm.
it was during the game and all of that. Like, okay.
And like it's so what I hate because like you could tell me what it's like on from your side. For me, what I do is when a team crosses like the 35 or the 40,
Hmm.
then I go and I head behind the end zone because I know um, when you have like a larger outlet, they may have 3, 4, 5, photographers like LSU. Like LSU has a plethora of photographers out there that probably don't even really have to switch sides. But like for me, when they cross like the 35, 40, I'm going behind the end zone to catch the traffic coming towards me.
Hmm.
Is it kind of the same for you, or what is it like?
Well, because it's typically two of us that go to LSU,
Yeah,
no. I guess the same thing with two. I've only shot one Tulane game this season, so we doubled up on that one too. But when I was in Lafayette and we would cover UL games, yeah, that would be the rule.
man. I set my Apple Watch. I shot the Ravens at the beginning of the year, week 1 when they played the Raiders. I
Hmm.
burned like 2,500 calories
Yeah,
because the
see,
NFL for me is
hey, bro,
different.
I don't know, and like, and I don't shoot the Saints games. That's what else I don't shoot too. But I don't know, and it's different on the NFL level.
It's different because you don't want to miss the moment the editor's going to write about.
Hmm.
So the guys I send my photos to, I know what he's looking for, and we shoot the Raiders and we shoot the Rams. So I have to get every Ram score. I have to get every Raider score. The
Yeah.
most difficult thing for me to shoot is like catching a shot of an interception. Because
Mm-hmm.
how I shoot, I'm looking at the quarterback. I'm kind of trying to judge his eyes. And when it's a deep shot, I'm able to kind of peek out of my lens and kind
Yeah.
of see where he's going. But like slant routes or if it's a quick interception, those are so hard for me to catch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But all the running up and down the sideline, like I hate when there's like let's say there's a interception, right? So on the other end of the field, so I'm running down because the other team's now in the red zone and they about to score.
And
And
they throw a
then
pick.
they throw a pick.
Yeah.
And now they're going the other way. And it's like, you've missed a sequence of 2 plays that are probably going to be written about.
Yeah. 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 I can imagine what that's like. I mean, just imagine the people that was shooting the Super Bowl. Somebody
Yeah.
didn't get Cooper DeJean's pick.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't know, man. It's a different being in it now, talking to you, seeing it from the different points of view. Some are similar, but I think although we got like the same end goal, the route to get there is different.
Yeah, of course. And that just is what it is. At the end of the day, for like both sides, it's all consistency. It's all reps. It's all practice. So
I'm so
honest.
rusty after football season. I don't shoot much basketball. I shoot some LSU women. I probably
What's the
shoot
last thing you did? Texas Bowl?
Texas Bowl was December 31st.
Yeah.
The Texas Bowl, I was a writer for the Sugar Bowl. So
Okay.
the last game I shot was
You
the
were the
Texas.
Sugar Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah. But the last one I shot was a Texas Bowl. I was supposed to shoot the Eagles Commanders NFC Championship game,
Mm-hmm.
but it was a snowstorm. I didn't want to get stuck. I had to be in Lafayette that next day. I'm mad now because the flight left. I would have been able to shoot both, go to the game and go to Lafayette. I went to the Rod Wave concert. I wasn't missing that. Plus, the concert was to celebrate my line brother because that was I took his wife and I was like, what's more important, going to shoot the game? Although that would have been my first NFC Championship game, and I wanted to shoot Jaden Daniels, but it was more important to make sure I made that concert for Amber and Alf.
Yeah. And he'll be back.
Yeah.
He'll be back.
Yeah, he'll be back. He'll be back. Hopefully, man, the Raiders or the Rams can. I was actually rooting for the Rams in that game because I knew I was gonna have a chance to go shoot the Super Bowl for sure, being that a team I cover was gonna be in there.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, I know a lot of people that back home, they just probably see me like shooting different games, but I go to a lot of them. But you know how that getting credential goes. It's not.
Yeah.
And NFL is strict.
They
NFL, they only let, I know it's different for Super Bowl, but a regular season game, they only let, I think, 30 photographers out there. So, I mean, I think it's 30. Yeah, I think it's like 30, yeah. Because I think before COVID, if you go back and look at photos in 2017 of a fade route, and you're able to see how many, because all the photographers go to one end zone once they're in the red zone. So you're able to see everybody. Back then, crowded.
Yeah.
Like crowded. Now, there's so much room on those sidelines now.
Yeah. And see, this is me assuming that that's at least the easier part of shooting the NFL games as opposed to the LSU game where everybody got a credential.
Mm-hmm. That's why I don't go out.
Their families on the sidelines, like, yeah.
That's why I don't go out early for LSU game. That end zone. Oh, yeah.
The end zone, you can't move in there.
Especially LSU sideline where all the recruits are. Because the family, like it's mixed both sides. So you have family on both sides. But all the recruits are like in the end zone. And it's so packed, especially for a Bama game, a Florida game, an Ole Miss game. Everybody's in that end zone. Yeah.
This year was the worst I've seen it.
Yeah.
And Ole Miss was the homecoming game. So yeah. It was ridiculous. So yeah, I'm sure it's way lighter at LSU. I mean not LSU at Saints games and whoever else. Yeah.
It's just it's not crowded at all. The only extra people on the NFL sideline are celebrities.
Yeah.
And it's not that many that's at a home game. It's just people that's Like, for example, Chicago, I saw the mom. Well, she plays the mom on BMF, and
Okay.
like she was out there. Angel Reese was out there. Like it's sporadic. It's not that many people. That sideline is not that packed, and I
Right.
do like that because I can get all the shots I really want. It's not crowded for me to try to get in the corner of an end zone. And the thing is, a lot of the people that's been in the game for a long time, they stand on that corner end zone shot because if you get too close to the goalpost, you're gonna be blocked. You're gonna miss something. But when you're on that outer edge, you're able to see, the whole field and
Yeah.
just kind of playing with the officials and make sure a ref isn't blocking you or something like if it's a national televised game like ESPN, their camera guys have priority.
They spot.
Yeah. But last thing I have, the Saints hiring Kellen Moore. It's official now. So what's your thoughts on that?
One, finally.
Yeah.
But two, I talked to Tom Pelissero, NFL Insider or NFL Network Insider, on Super Bowl opening night. We talked for a good little minute, and I'm gonna steal what he said. He said that he believes the Saints move methodically in this, and I have to agree. It's probably one of the better decisions that they've made as of late because the dominoes were falling before them. Like, okay, Aaron Glenn decided to go to the Jets. Joe Brady decided to stick with Buffalo. And it's like your two favorites have decided to kind of like stay by the wayside or whatever. I know they didn't interview Cliff Kingsbury, but I know he was in the conversation and what he's been able to do with the Commanders, obviously. So it's kind of like, dang, like these people kind of falling off bit by bit. Okay, well, we got Kellen Moore, and then we got Mike Kafka. Like, okay, we gonna sit back. We gonna see what Kellen does. Like we've already been impressed with what he's been able to do this season in year one with Philadelphia. But we're gonna sit back, see what he does. We got the best seat in the house, literally.
Yeah.
And he winds up picking up a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And the Eagles, now the Saints were able to talk to Kellen the entire time he was in New Orleans, but they practiced in the indoor facility. They also, the Eagles had the Saints locker room, the home locker room. So Kelly got a chance to kind of like sniff the roses a little bit in another uniform, if you will. And I just think it really worked out. Like for a team that was that had the last head coaching vacancy, you get the guy that wins the Super Bowl. It was a very impressive move.
Yeah, and you don't normally see that much of a gap from the next to last team hiring a coach and the last team. Normally it's maybe a day apart, maybe sometimes the same day. I know most teams may have, who they want already in sight. But and when I look at Aaron Glenn, I know he was on the same staff before he went to Detroit.
Right.
But also as a former Jet, drafted there, you kind of, if I'm looking at it from his point of view, I'm going back to New York where I got my start in the league. I saw an interview with him where he was saying he was living in Houston. He wasn't in the league anymore. And his wife said, "You miss football, go back and coach." So he started back coaching, but he gets to go and say, I can turn the Jets around. That may be larger than saying I get to turn the Saints around, especially being a former Jet.
Yeah. And I agree. That's Mike Vrabel used to play for the Patriots back in the day as well. So I know there was the notion of, Facebook and Twitter is going to talk at the end of the day. But I know there was the notion of, like, nobody wants to come to the Saints. Aaron Glenn don't want to come to the Saints. It's a bad job. And, whatever happened with Mickey Loomis, he said, like, we don't know that. But
Mickey Loomis has been taking a lot of heat.
yes. And this is not me even, like, trying to take up for either side, honestly, because I'm never in those rooms. But what I will say, though, if Aaron Glenn wanted to go to the Jets, I believe it's because he wanted to go to the Jets. I don't think it's, I didn't want to go to New Orleans. I believe it's what, and it's a storybook, fairy tale, if you will. I mean, if the Jets sit up there and take off, who knows? Now, if Aaron Rodgers is there, I don't know. But
and I mean, that was kind of, I'm about to get into our quarterback situation. So when I think of Kellen Moore, it brings me back to 2005. You got a young Sean Payton, offensive mastermind. We see what he did and what he's done. Kellen Moore's a young coach. what started off in Dallas. He goes to San Diego, then spends a year in Philly. And when I look at, the offenses, the type of offenses he's put out and the quarterbacks that he's had along the way, do you think Derek Carr fits in that scheme?
Well, one, I want to backtrack right quick because I think we focus so much on the quarterback situation, which, duh, we should. But you also have to applaud Kellen for the resurgence of Saquon. Saquon is like, age wise, like, yes, he's still young, but he's been in the league for a while.
The running back market is back up now.
Like, like, you talk about more than a 180.
Mm-hmm.
Saquon was in the MVP conversation. And despite his performance from the Super Bowl, I mean, Saquon did his ish,
Man, he didn't need to put up, though. Like I said on the first episode, if you would have told the Chiefs that they were going to hold Saquon to 57 yards, they knew they had it in the bag. They won.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And in turn, you contain Saquon. Great. Jalen Hurts is throwing the ball crazy. Like, F it. Somebody down there, whether that's A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith, right? And had they not called back that touchdown from John Dotson, like, who would have drew that up on the first touchdown?
Yeah.
Had he not been short of the line. So I think that between what Kellen has been able to do in 1 year, and I know Doug Nussmeier is also the quarterback's coach, but what he's been able to do in 1 year with Jalen Hurts, deservingly so, getting the MVP award, and Saquon, I am very anxious to see what he does with a Derek Carr if they decide to, stick with him, and an aging Alvin Kamara as well. Like, Alvin had sparks this season.
Yeah, he did.
He had money this year. So I think my personal opinion is that I think they do rock with Derek.
I agree. I looked at the draft order earlier today, and I was saying, okay, who needs a quarterback? And is there a team that if they took a vet, could the Saints trade up and take a Shador or Cam Ward? I know the latest mock draft had Cam Ward going to the Titans, but I do believe New York would want to see a Shador throwing to Malik Neighbors. So I don't know how much they could really do as far as trading him and getting a higher draft pick and starting off fresh and young. I would love to see what Kellen Moore would do with a mobile quarterback, and have somebody that resembles Jalen Hurts, but I don't know.
Well, and I'll also add that, I was having this conversation with somebody earlier because Derek Carr is like 33, something like that. So, I guess he's still got a couple years still left on him. But who I think Spencer Rattler had a decent year. I think he was in a bad situation. By the time he hops in, Chris Olave is in and out. He out.
Injuries killed us.
Yeah,
man.
absolutely. I mean, MVS was a great pickup. Like, and I would hope that they decide to stick with him. You got a tall, big-bodied vet receiver, speed and all of that. He picked up where Shaheed left off. That was a lot of the comparison, I guess. But I think that Spencer had a great year despite the hand that he was dealt with. And you could see him progress throughout the year. I mean, not only the hand he was dealt with, but think about the games he played. Like, Green Bay was terrible, but
yeah.
I mean, Green Bay had a really solid year as well. Well, we saw that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I thought about this earlier as well. And this is no slight to Jay Kaner, of course, but had Spencer started in that game, could the Saints have pulled that off instead of having to rely on a 2-point play at the end of the game? Because all the momentum was on the same side by that point, or most, it had shifted. So, I don't think personally maybe quarterback needs to be number one. And also the Saints historically pick up a lineman anyway, so I don't have a lot of stock in it. I mean, when they picked up Chris Olave, that was a great choice. But I think with the healthy team, maybe some more younger pieces, a healthy lineman, had they had to turn to Spencer a couple times, I don't think he would have been the worst thing in the world.
And normally those lineman pickups turn into a Pro Bowler, 15-year career, and normally it's a great pick. I know we probably have fatigue of seeing left tackle picked in the first round, and when we see names still left on the board, we on the outside looking in.
I mean, Caesar is a great pickup.
Mhm.
Obviously, Eric McCoy.
Yeah.
Just injuries just riddled them like really bad this year. So
I just
the
hope we
fact that
can.
the soft tissue injuries had got
Mhm.
minimized when Rizzy was the interim.
Yeah. I just hope we get back to. I know week 1, week 2, we were like, oh my God, this is the 09 offense. And you know what's crazy? It's funny you say that about the Super Bowl being in New Orleans, right? And the Saints hosting it. For a long time, you didn't have the home team, the host city being it until the Bucks went and Tom Brady and they played in Tampa. And then the very following year, you had the Rams hosting it in SoFi and then they win it. So, you're looking at the Saints hosting it and we're in week 1 and like, okay, yeah, we play the Panthers. All right. So then week 2, for us as a Saints fan, you just want to beat Dallas and Atlanta. So
Right.
we go to Dallas and we
Beat the
beat
brakes
them
off
up,
them.
right? Right? And then you just saw the downfall, right? And it's
Yeah.
like, what was it? 7 consecutive losses.
Yeah.
It's like, man. But it's a new season. We're gonna it's gonna be a new offense. The whole front office, not the front office, but we lost every coach
Staff.
to another team, but I'm pretty sure Kellen Moore wanted to bring in his own people anyway. I think they had Brandon Staley,
Yeah.
probably a front runner. I don't know if they finalized it yet, but I
Yeah.
think he had the number 1 defense not too long ago. And I think were they together in San Diego?
I believe so.
So
Kellen
we'll
joined
see.
them for that one. So yeah, it had to be that same year. Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah.
excited though. I'm excited. He has Super Bowl experience. He has a ring. He's young.
He's young.
And
He's one.
hey, he was the quarterback for a great offense at Boise.
Yeah.
So I mean,
And what I read was that he was a Heisman finalist, like the only, well, up until this year, but
yeah,
a Heisman finalist for Boise. So
yeah.
you can only
But
say, but no, I'm anxious to hear it. He'll be talking this week, so I'm excited to hear what he has to say.
well, that's what I had for you today, man. This was a pop-up episode. When you said you had
Yes.
time, hey man, when you said you had time, I was like, let me make time to get Meagan on the show, man. And
Yeah, I'm
put
excited.
you're welcome to come back anytime.
I would love to.
Just let me know when you're available. You're a busy woman, and I see
Please.
that's that Sugar Bowl sweatshirt they gave us.
You see it? Well, you can't see the emblem too well,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah, you see that little reflection.
yeah. I see it. I saw it. I was like, hey, they did their thing when they gave us that nice
Yeah,
media gift.
this is my most worn sweatshirt.
Yeah.
And I got another. I already had a black Nike sweatshirt, just blank. I don't know where it's at now, since I've been wearing this one.
Well, thank you for coming on. Like I said,
For
the
sure.
invite is always there. We'll catch you on WGNO. Everybody back home. Maybe we'll see you on a sideline in Bogalusa. We're in a rebuilding year right now. But maybe we'll see you back on the sidelines. We'll see you on the sidelines in Bogue real soon.
For sure. I can't wait. I appreciate you.